Hello and welcome to this video tutorial from Computergaga.com, where we have a follow-up to our previous video to answer a question that I received. So in the previous video, we found out the time difference between two dates and times that go over midnight. And we showed the answers like this, with how many days and how many hours. And we looked at how we can format that, but it was still a number as well. So we could do analysis like longest, shortest time periods. Now this question came about because if you try to sum those, so if I click in the cell I want the answer to go, and if I just type a sum function to sum all of those values, because they are still numeric values, I get that answer as Excel goes to format them how it thinks I want them, which I do, but I don't want that answer. That's not the right answer. That's not the total. So let's look at how we can fix this. So let me begin by selecting that cell and changing the format from the days and hours to a general format. So that doesn't look great either, but at least we're closer to the right answer because we can see number 35 there, and that will be how many days. But then we have this 0.6479, etc., this decimal value which represents the hours, but is not understandable by us. So it still needs a little bit more work, and we're going to do that with some formulas. So I'm going to click in the cell underneath where that total is, and we're going to write the formula here. Now ideally we wouldn't have both, we wouldn't have that visible, but for the purpose of this video and understanding how it works, that's the way I'm going to play it. And I'm going to begin with this TRUNC function. I'm going to build this up bit by bit. And I'm using the TRUNC function because I want to extract that integer part of this, the how many days, because that part is great already. So I'm just going to use the TRUNC function on that cell, close the bracket, and if we look at that at the moment, we have how many days? 35. So I could now go back into that formula and just ampersand onto the end of that. If I open up some quotes and write the word days and close that, and now I have 35 days. But now the more difficult part is extracting the time and making sense of that. So back into that formula we go. Let me put a comma after days, just like I do in the examples in the cells above. And I'll put that space in. And then after the day work, ampersand, and now we need to calculate the hours part. So what we need to do is extract the decimal portion of that value in cell C14. And I'm going to do that by clicking on cell C14 and subtracting from it the truncated version of that same cell. So trunc on C14, close bracket. So now if I press enter, we've extracted the decimal part. Now that doesn't look good, but as I say, we can see this building bit by bit. Back into the formula. Okay, so we've extracted the decimal part. What we now want to do though is put it into something that makes sense. And there's a few different approaches here, but I'm going to bring in a brilliant function called text. So it's going to store this as text, but it can put it into a numeric format. This will understand it for us. The value is going to be the calculation we've done, that decimal portion of that value. Now the format text, this is where we get to come into our own and do what we want. I need to open up some quotes. I'm definitely going to show hours, but now we have to decide whether we want the word hours, whether I want to see minutes as well. So for example, I could put a colon, I could put a couple of M's, close off my quotes, close off my text function, and if I run with that, I get this, 35 days, 15 hours and 33 minutes. So we're just over that 30-minute mark. So my plan is to look at rounding this. So I guess we should round it up to 16, being that we're on 33 minutes. But if we keep with this formula for one more moment, I could go back into it, take out the minutes of that answer, and then on the end, ampersand in the word hours, just like I could do above, and I could display it in that way with the 15 hours. So it hasn't rounded it up to 16, but I've managed to show the hours there. And this is one technique out of many, showing the text function, and we might be interested in that as a simple way of showing details such as minutes. But all I'm going to do now is round that up to the 16. So back into that formula, I'm going to remove the text function. I'm not going to use that. So let me get rid of this hours part here, but I'll keep the word hours. I'm going to have that. I want it to look like the cells above. But after the trunc function, the second one, the section where we extract the decimal portion, I'm going to multiply it by 24 for the 24 hours in a day. Now, because I've done that, I better put some brackets around the subtraction part of that formula, because I'll need that to happen before it does the multiply by 24. Now I'm going to bring in the round function. So I'm going to wrap the round function around all of that formula. So then it's going to come after the 24 here, comma, I can see in the box underneath how many digits, 0 digits I'm rounding it to. Close off the bracket, and now I get this. 35 days, comma, 16 hours by rounding that up. So there's a few different techniques here, different ways we can show the answer and different ways of getting to that answer. I hope you found this video useful. Please check out some of our other videos on our YouTube channel and come check us out at computergaga.com.